Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, he is on a crusade against the unfair billing practices of the hospital system, and he wants to give hospitals a taste of their own medicine. His incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, we've all seen these stories on the news. A couple gets their hospital bill, and as they go through it, they were charged $70 for Tylenol. It's outrageous, and the hospital system has been getting away from it for years. My next guest is on a crusade to right those wrongs. Dr. Bill Hennessey is in the studio. He's with CareGuide CareGuide Advocates.
That's correct. We are CareGuide, and we're putting the care back into healthcare.
I love it. Tell us about your journey. How did you get into this?
My stepping stones. I'm an MD. I was in private practice. I knew that I wasn't getting paid for all the work I did. There's these companies called health insurance companies. They operate under a 4-word definition. Collect premium, deny payment. And you're stuck holding the bag if you're the doctor or the patient. So I started my own medical billing company where I fine-tuned my medical billing skills. And then I founded a price transparency company in 2014, and then eventually an advocacy company, CareGuide Advocates, a few years ago. So now I say we have the team and the tools to take on the hospital and the big, bad, illegal billing that occurs when people are their most vulnerable in life,
yes,
when they have a medical condition and are stressed.
Okay, so Dr. Bill, tell us how it works. A couple gets a health care bill, they call you?
That's it. They can call us, or if they're with an employer health plan, what we end up doing is just working with the insurance company, and they send all bills over a certain number of dollars, let's say $5,000 or more. And now we reach out to you and interact with you. But we always give people the option to call, and we have a privacy-compliant upload portal. So if you're stressed about your bill, you can upload it. We can start telling you, well, here's the real dollar price that we're aiming for and why.
Wow.
And put your mind at rest. And we typically will take a signed agency, which is a big word, with you sign one piece of paper. You never have to talk to the hospital again. You're not going to be sent to collections. We're going to be dealing with that hospital for you. And
I love that.
That's it.
What's one of your favorite success stories? Like, what was the bill and what were you able to work it down to?
Well, we have a health share client that had a member that needed some life-altering, life-saving surgery at Yale New Haven Hospital. The bill was over $800,000. The patient ended up living and doing pretty well, only to call one of our Price Defender team members to say, I don't know why I lived, because I can't afford my hospital bill, which means I can't afford my utilities, my grocery bill. This has ruined me. We used the Affordable Care Act provision that nonprofit hospitals must give free or discounted care, and they're not following the federal rules. Her $800,000 bill went to $0. She cried. That made our advocate cry. Makes me cry.
Wow. I can tell this is not just a job for you. This is really a mission, isn't it?
Our mission is to help millions save billions on healthcare. We all deserve affordable access to care. Food, shelter, clothing, healthcare. We're here to preserve human dignity and that basic right to feel good and take care of one another as we're meant to.
And so the hospital system, I guess it's a numbers game. If they send out the bill, most people say, well, that's the bill. I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to pay it. Is that what they're counting on?
The hospitals have very specific techniques. There's 5,700 hospitals in the United States. 0 of them provide you with an itemized bill. Get this, you have to request one. You don't do that at a restaurant or grocery store or when you buy a car. You get a very itemized bill. I repeat, we have to request an itemized bill, sometimes not once, but 2 or 3 times before we get one. But once we see one, we see all the fluff in it, the shenanigans. We're going after everything that's illegal, including fraud, violations of federal price transparency mandates, violations of federal healthcare consumer laws, and we are using all of that as leverage points in addition to knowing what the real price of that care is to achieve a success result for you. Again, you do nothing. We do it all.
Wow, it's absolutely brilliant. We're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll down the website, I know something that I've heard of before is that, you know, if you're getting an ambulance ride to the hospital or, God forbid, you need to be air flighted to a hospital, those bills can be absolutely outrageous, can't they?
They can be. They shouldn't be. Again, you don't have to know the terms I'm about to say. It's a contract of adhesion. That means it's an unfair advantage where they're using your life to charge 5 or 10 times what the care is actually worth. That's illegal.
Right.
But we know that. So, and we know what the real price of that ambulance ride is, whether it's on the ground or in the air. You don't. The good news is we now have a nationwide company at CareGuide to take care of this for you. You don't have to know my 30 hours of 80-hour work weeks with knowledge passed on to our entire team with proprietary software, that's all working for you. You call us, we fix your problem.
Give us some sticker shock. So a 10-minute air ambulance ride, what does that typically end up being billed for?
I had one case where I was dealing with $88,000 at our company for an air ambulance ride that probably should have been $10,000 to $15,000. If we look at a land case, it should be probably in the order of about $1,000, $1,200 if you're going 5-10 miles to the closest hospital.
Sure. Do you guys have the reputation now that when you get on the phone with the hospital system, they know who you are? They know that the big boy just walked into the room.
They know we know our stuff. They know we're not going to back down, and their technique is to drag out the process and to try to send you to collections to intimidate you from paying. But meanwhile, that whole time, we're dragging it out with them even longer, and we're beating them up for you and beating them over the head with everything that shows that we know what they did wrong.
Right.
And we win.
And at the end of the day, they want to get something. They get it. Even if it's 10 cents on the dollar. They know that if the family can't possibly ever pay that bill in 5 lifetimes, they're gonna come down.
Right. Well, with us, you never overpay for CareGuide because we know the price of care. So we know what the target price should be that you should pay for your bill.
Yes.
And our goal is to always go below that by pointing out all of the improper billing techniques intentionally used to achieve a better success than anyone else in the market.
Wow, I'm so inspired by you. We're going to show some video from our library of just couples frustrated with their bills. What's been your experience? What percentage of hospital bills are unfair or price gouging?
100%.
Really?
Yeah, so you'll see commonly if you do your internet searches, 90% of hospital bills have errors. I laugh at that stat. That means for the past several decades, when 90% have errors, that's intentional. That's the majority. It's not an error. They are intentionally price gouging you. I say it's 100% because I have the expertise here.
Right.
You have violations that include fraud, price transparency, federal mandates, and multiple healthcare consumer laws.
So why is it? I mean, if you go out to a restaurant and you buy a steak, the price is on the menu, there should be no surprises. And if you saw your bill and it was twice what you expected, you'd have an argument with the waiter. Why is it that the hospital system has been allowed to get away with this for so long?
They do a fantastic job at the American Hospital Association of paying 500 politicians in D.C. every year, $20 million a year. They don't care if you're Republican or Democratic. They're paying them off to make sure they get away with this. There are enough laws on the books that if they were enforced, you and I would have health insurance and affordable access to care probably 50 to 75% lower than what it is today.
Sure. I think about Don Quixote swinging at windmills. Do you sometimes feel like Don Quixote or David versus Goliath? I mean, you're trying to win a fight with a very large institution.
I love a challenge, and in the end, good always beats evil. So we're staying persistent, and we're gaining massive traction, and that's because everyone knows what we're doing is needed, it works, and it's the right thing to do.
Amen. Dr. Bill, we've got a couple minutes left, so look into the camera on the left and talk to the viewer and give them some final thoughts.
You don't have to go it alone. None of you ever get an itemized hospital bill. You should request one, because even if you're not a doctor, you're going to see some shenanigans, very likely, where you can help yourself. So there's a little bit of a help yourself component here. Always get an itemized bill. If you want, you can sign up for our CareGuide service, cgasaves.com, to learn more about us. The other one is that who's the most expensive place to receive care? The answer is hospitals. So if you go to a non-hospital setting for blood work, such as Quest Diagnostics, or to an independent imaging center or an independent surgery center not owned by a hospital, your costs are going to be probably a half to third of the hospital. Only use a hospital if you need hospitalized. If you're really looking to save the most money, though, eat right, exercise, manage your stress, and don't need anything other than seeing your family doctor every 1 to 2 years.
Wow. I could listen to you all day. Congratulations on your success, and thank you for fighting the good fight. We're going to end with the website, which is CareGuide.com, the great Dr. Bill Hennessey. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.